Weather permitting this afternoon, we're in for an exciting climax to the Novotel Perrier Open de France. Colin Montgomery has won just about everything else in Europe. This week he's been setting about adding the French Open to his collection. Welcome indeed to day 4 of this French Open, the final round. Yesterday was one of the longest days in Colin Montgomery's golfing life. Up at dawn to complete a storm-delayed second round, out for round 3 and 2 holes to play. Further delay of an hour and a quarter didn't matter to Monty. Resumed on the 17th, the hardest par 4 on the course, a 5 wood, and you'd have never guessed. 33, 7 under for the round, 12 under for the tournament, into the lead. Final hole should have been a formality, a par 5, just a 5-iron to the green, but got to fly it 20 yards further than anticipated, but he still escaped with a par. And he leads at 12 under. All these players will need something quite special to catch him. Multinational leaderboard. Jean van der Velde, the leading home player. Good round from David Park. There's just a chance that Roger Davis could become the oldest winner ever on the European Tour. Lomas and Campbell are close, but Monty leads by 1. This week we're in northern France, just 20 miles southwest from the centre of one of the loveliest cities in the world, and Paris, they say, at its best in the spring. Or wherever you are in the world, be it Sunday, be it getting on towards Monday, local time here in Central Europe. It's just gone 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. Big crowds out on Le Golf National. And this is the story of the final round so far. Colin Montgomery with the 1-shot advantage at the start of play, wasted no time in making his first move on day 4. This for birdie at the first. That's bad news for everybody else in the field. Second is a dangerous hole, and Colin had to work hard for his par. Hasn't dropped a shot on the front 9 in the first 3 rounds. He's hoping to keep it that way today. It would take something very special for Jean van der Velde to come through. The damage really done in the second round, 74, but he finished strongly yesterday with an eagle. He picked up a shot at the third. This was his second to the 5th hole. He's got a big gallery with him, and I can tell you that he tapped that one in and indeed reached the turn in 33, so just on the fringes of contention. Now Michael Campbell was joint leader after 3 rounds when Sam Torrance won 2 years ago and fell away. He's hoping not to do that. He dropped a shot at the first, got it back at 4. Already with 2 wins on this year's European Tour schedule, second into the 5th. Two birdies in a row and the chase was on. But this is the very up-to-date situation. Colin Montgomery churning out the pars. Jonathan Lomas doing pretty much likewise, 7 in a row for Jonathan on his 32nd birthday. Michael Campbell just dropped the shot at the 7th where his second shot missed the green, so Monty leads by 2. John Sendon from Australia has had a very good front 9 of 33. David Guilford going along nicely as well, and you can see quite a tussle for the minor placings. At the moment though, the outcome of this title looks to be between those top 3. Roger Vessels fighting back after disappointments on the first half of his round yesterday. And just moving down, you can see that Alberto Benaghi, the first round leader, has played steady golf since. No charge from Santiago Luna nor from Alex Jaker. Jose Caceres with a good front nine. Right, let's join the action live here on the outskirts of Paris, and a 6-iron for Colin Montgomery on the 8th. He leads by 2. And he's playing very well tee to green. Hasn't perhaps made his quota of putts today. 1 or 2 umbrellas up. It's been spotting with rain. The forecast not great. In fact, I'm told some 25 miles south of Paris there are thunderstorms. We're southwest. Let's hope they just keep the distance. Difficult hole, this one. The pin placing 13 paces on 5 from the left. If you just push it a little to the right, then the putting surface ends fairly abruptly and you do run away to the right. And we've seen a lot of, or I've seen a lot of players do that already. This is the first time Jonathan Lomas has featured in the last group on a Sunday. And that's okay, just long enough. It's quite easy to almost be have sufficient club and just push it a fraction to the right and come up short. This is David Guilford at the 10th hole, out in 33. Back after a long illness at the start of the year. Made his reappearance last week in Spain, and oh dear. But he's hooked that one. He's normally such an accurate player, and he's hooked that quite badly. That's the water that separates 9 and 10. Well, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. 1 or 2 good rounds already early this morning. Jose Rivero, a 67, a 69 for Matthias Grunberg, and a 68 for Retief Goosen, the defending champion. That despite a double bogey, 6 at the 13th, but he finished with 4 birdies in the last 5 holes. That's the finish of a champion. This is the swing of Michael Campbell. The coach lives in Florida, and he's been spending time after that momentous start to the year. He went to Florida just to turn up, but competitively he's been regaining his touch day by day here in Paris. So Retief Goosen finishing at 4 under. Having won this title twice in the previous 3 years. Once here, once in Bordeaux. And news that we'll not be playing the French Open 2001 here at Golf National. They have a policy now to try and move it around the country, and we will either be in Lyon or Lille.
Thank you.
Campbell's got a little bit of green to work with, but missing two greens in a row doesn't exactly build confidence. This could be very good indeed. Very, very good. Well, that's a 3 secured. So Campbell was 10 under in 98, joint leader with Sam Torrance after 3 rounds, but slipped to a 75 and out of the top 10 in the end. David Guilford, who contracted a virus in the Middle East when he stopped off to practice on his way to start his season in Australia. And had everybody baffled for a while, and certainly laid him flat on his back for some considerable time. Jonathan Lomas, 32 today. And 7 straight pars so far. 25 putts in round 2. Needs to rediscover that touch. 19 birdies in the first 3 rounds for Jonathan. And his putting benefiting from a lesson from Peter Mitchell during the course of the build-up to the tournament. And Peter Mitchell, by an odd coincidence, spent about an hour and a half on the putting green with Colin Montgomery. They were having a putting competition, but I can't believe that Monty didn't ask for 1 or 2 tips from Mitch, so maybe he should be on a percentage. Now the chance to lead by 4 is Mrs. Monty. Lovely Amir looks on. She arrived on Friday evening via Eurostar. That lifted Monty's spirits. He's had 1 or 2 of those, and he mustn't get agitated. He must keep the patience, keep the faith. Seen him have a look at a photographer or 2, and putts may not be going, but it's still going his way. Both Campbell and Montgomery second in the putting stats at the end of 3 rounds, averaging 27.7 per round. Vanderbilt picked up his birdie at 9, almost home in 2, so already 33 to the turn. He's got himself to a share of 4th place at 9 under. And we haven't had a French winner of this title since young Gary Audi back in 1969, and Gary Audi here this week working for French television. Here's the night, 563 yards, and of course this is rather a bottleneck on the course. At any time you get a par 5 where players feel they can get on or thereabouts in 2, then there's quite a weight, and that sometimes stacks back onto the 8th tee. Certainly did on day 2. Quite a tight drive from a slightly elevated tee. Thick stuff on the right, you don't want to go near there. And water within range on the left if you really catch it and turn it over. That's also to be avoided. And this was rather a sad hole in 2 ways for Jarmo Sanderlin yesterday, when, remember, he was the joint leader going into the 3rd round and was going along pretty well. He took an 8 here, all sorts of trouble, fell away to a 78, and today he's been disqualified on this hole. I'll tell you why in a moment. Just take a look at Coulthard's second, smooth swing and into the bunker. That's a tricky one. Oh, well, no green at all to work with. Jarmo, I'm afraid, frustration got to him in the end, and having missed 1 putt, he almost bet his putter over his knee, changed the playing characteristics, then tapped out. That's against the rule. 4-2, and 3 holes later he was informed, sorry, you're out, and it's a weekend to forget for the Swede. You have to admire the resilience of Fernando Roca. Started with a 6, but he's managed a birdie at 5 and hasn't dropped any more shots, so he's at 8 under at the moment, looking for a top 10 finish, which would move him up the re-rank and get him into next week's B&H. Roger Davis, still the possibility of being the oldest winner ever on the European Tour. Just 9 days short of his 49th birthday. He had a fabulous shot here yesterday. Set up a chance for an eagle, which he didn't take, and that's none too shabby either. Davis, birdie at the 1st, drop shot at the 2nd, and pars all the way since. 9 under. Close, but it's still the first bogey of the day for David Guilford. Three wood for Colin Montgomery, who hit every fairway yesterday. I haven't seen him miss a fairway today. Only 3 bogeys during the course of the week so far. Now the Frenchman down the hill at 10. Got a chance. It's got a chance. If only. open with a 68. There's problems with a couple of 7s. The par 5s in round 2 on his way to a 74. Ways holding the follow through suggests that he likes it. Indeed he does. And that's up, maybe even a little past Colin Montgomery. Though Monty hit a 3 wood, and still quite a long drive from the Shropshire boy. Michael Campbell, 7 under on the par 5s this week. Three splendid drives. You see what a difficult bunker shot this is for Andrew Coulthard. 80% across sand, and he has to land it with plenty of check. Coulthard struggled with the putter really. 33 in round 1, 30 in rounds 2 and 3, but he's number 1 in greens in regulation. And that goes down, third shot onto the green, 87% of the greens in the first 3 rounds. That sometimes bumps the putting stats up, and I'm getting so many up and downs. Roker 25th in the Tour School re-rank, which is reassessed at the end of play today. You need to be in the top 20 to get a new ranking, and at the moment the top 12 will get into next week's B&H at the Belfry. So a lot of them involved. Forsyth, Poulter, Van Hoedegem, Mackenzie Bird, they're all fairly safe, but the likes of Grant Hamilton, who's 19th, Brocco, who's 25, of course, Florioli 13, Eliasson 14, they're all involved, so plenty of subplots within the main plot. So all the players out there have a goal, a target. Clouds still a little threatening. Of course, yesterday was such a long day for Colin Montgomery. There 5 holes to finish off his second round, and then a bit of a break and out 2T start for the third round. Got within 2 holes of home, and then the players decided that there were storm clouds gathering. Off they went. It's somewhat controversial circumstances. The tour not too happy that their equipment, which detects lightning, wasn't to be trusted, and there was 1 or 2 conversations took place. Anyway, after 75 minutes, Monty was out to finish birdie par. Roger Davis for eagle. This will put him into a share of second place. He's left 1 to 2, just light. Has this one got the pace? Oh, it has. What a blow for Davis. He gets himself to 11 under, and you never know. Neil Cole was the oldest winner on the European Tour so far, but he was almost a good year younger than Roger. As I say, on May the 16th, I think it is, turns 49. There is a share of second place. Out in 34. 7 wins on the in his career in Europe, many more down under, and internationally, of course. 29th in the career earnings money list in Europe. Come on. Just jumped a little, didn't it? Yeah, he's getting frustrated. You can understand why. The greens haven't been the greatest here, and that's not really down to the green staff. It's down to a disease that's got into them. It's been such a wet April, and I do know the green staff were out working at 2:30 on Saturday morning to get the course ready, so there's no doubt that they've worked their little socks off this week. Perfect length, but you've got an awkward little shoulder to come over. It's been an excellent performance from Fernando Roca. Only here as a sponsored invite on the intervention of Jose Maria Olazabal. He's now made 5 of his last 6 cuts, hasn't had a top 20, so the pressure really will be on the back 9, but you can't fault his performance on the front 9. He's got those 2 shots back. He dropped at the first and he's back level par and back at 9 under. Perfect reply from David Guilford to his first drop shot. Campbell feels he can get there with an iron. Trying to chase it on a link start. Look at that run. And what he's done, he's taken the bunker out of play, and though he's not on, he's got a good line of approach. Direct line to the pin. Third in the order of merit. This man is 23rd. Time to get going. Now he's got a new 5-wood in the bag this week, which he's used twice to good effect. And indeed it's the 5-wood that he selected for this one. Fabulous shot at 17 yesterday. He's got 232, so he can reach, but he's got to catch it just perfectly. Takes his line on the flag. He's going at it across the bunker maybe. And into the bunker, but close enough to be acceptable. And from the angle he's got a little more green to work with. He knows it's not on the green because there's no applause. Three wood at 10 for Roger Davis. That was a bit quick. Bit quick from the top. Shoved away to the right. Long way to the right. Now it just need to be lucky there. And again, that's as long as it's not too close to the lip, that's fine. Colin Montgomery then maybe looking to get up and down, and if he can, he will complete the front 9 in 34 shots and maybe lead by 3. At the moment he's 2 clear of Roger Davis, Jonathan Lomas and Michael Campbell. Sebi Ballesteros with the round of 73. Making his first cut of the season. 79 players made it through. 1 or 2 in the lower order, looking for a strong finish, maybe increase the size of the check. Poor old Perrier Johansson, 10 yesterday at the 15th did for him. Michael Campbell then, 20 yards of fairway and about 15 of green. Looking to just run that in off the hump, and too much contact and right on top of the hump now. It's going to make the putt a little harder. And it's the area of the game where you would expect to be a bit rusty after a prolonged period of inactivity. Bunker shots in for the leader Colin Montgomery and for Jonathan Lomas. Maybe Monty first to play. Difficult to get the spin, and he didn't really get the full follow through there. Just punched it in. And, now up the top of the hollow now, we'll start to pick up speed. Didn't know, that's what he felt. It didn't happen. It's a more straightforward bunker shot for Jonathan Lomas. Although he can't really follow through. The sand is fairly wet as well, which doesn't help. Well, Roger Davis being a little lucky, he's found a decent spot for a wild drive at 10. A better tempo to the swing. Puts him under a little pressure as well. This is the part of the round, obviously the last 9 last Sunday, where hit fairways, hit greens, make it as easy as you can. John Sendon, tall man, 6'3" from Brisbane, with his wife caddying for him. Quite a few of the Aussies do that. This is his second to the 13th. He's just coming off a birdie at 12. He's 10 under. He's on his own in 5th place. Challenge Tour graduate, 2nd year on the main tour. Wonderful shot from John. Again, a very dangerous pin. You can see how maybe Latif Hussain, in attacking mode, might have carded his double bogey 6. One of these. So Campbell out in 36. Generally the back nine offers more birdie opportunities, but also more bogey opportunities. It's a more dangerous 9. Player's been a little steadier on this front 9. A little bit of South African involvement. The caddy there watching Jonathan Lomas is Jason Henning, who's the brother of Nick, famous golfing family in South Africa. And Jonathan Lomas on cue opens his account out in 35 and now 2nd on his own for the time being, just 1 shot behind. There's Jason there. And it's Michael Campbell's caddy behind Jonathan. Wife was watching on TV yesterday. Jonathan said every time she watched, he dropped the shot, so she gave up and Today's driving down from Scotland to their family home in Cheshire. His parents were watching as well in Yorkshire. Oh dear. Well, this is the Achilles heel for Colin Montgomery. He's not putting that badly, but if he gets it into his own mind that he is, and then who knows. So he only leads by 1. He's out in 35. He hasn't dropped the shot on the front 9 all week. Now the fireworks may begin. "22 wins on the European Tour, 23 second places." So don't tell anybody that winning is easy for Colin Montgomery. He may do it more than most, but it's never easy out here. Competition can... I mean, you wouldn't expect this other week. Well, who's going to challenge Roger Davis? What, the old Australian? Yeah, he can play. Certainly can. Take a look at the back 9 hole. The 10th runs in the opposite direction of the 9th. The 11th, the high point of the course, and 12 down through a valley. 13, you can see all the water running away, and that's causing a few problems. Then at 14, a chance to get home in 2, a chance to pick up a shot, and then the stadium finish ready with 15, such a dangerous hole. 16, the par 3 and the pin today cut down not too far from the water's edge. 17 is just a slog really, narrow driving area, long second shot, and then 18, the par 5, which is reachable with the drive of the medium iron if you get your drive away. But such a dangerous green, dangerous hole. We've seen bogeys, double bogeys there, we've seen equals. So it's a fabulous finish, and much can happen and probably will. Made a slow start to the season. He's seeking his first top 20. When you've got the honour, use it, and that's in great position. This is how the back, and you can see that run really from 15, the second hardest hole. 9 is the stroke 9, the 60th. That's the hardest par 3. Hardest hole on the course, the 17th, and then the easiest, the 18th. But that's some finish. One of the best finishes on tour. The flag of Scotland, that flies high. Monty's never won this. Of course, Sam Torrance won for Scotland 2 years ago. Monty's missed a fairway. At the moment, it's a mini crisis for Monty. Making putts, he's pushed that one. Encouragement for Lomas and co. I think the lie will be okay. We saw Roger Davis out that way, and he was had no problems with his line. Tricky little chip now, though. Roll this up within a foot. Don't put the pressure on yourself.
Sit.
See, that just chases off and come on, knees to turn. Just the length you don't want to leave yourself on the back 9 Sunday. Send them for birdie at 13. Now we've seen that Retief Husson finished with 4 birdies in the last 5. Jonathan Lomas 5 in the last 6 in round 2. So that it's not inconceivable that someone like John could just post a target. Maybe the rain would come in. Lots of imponderables, but he still has not finished with this tournament. He still has a chance maybe to post a target that might take some reaching. 10th hole, fair to middling really, isn't it? 10th hardest, 10th easiest. And 3 wood for Campbell. Sometimes this game's a little unfair. He's missed the fairway not nearly as wildly as Colin Montgomery, and yet the rough seems a little heavier there. He may have sat down and have a poorer lie than Colin. watching in Denmark. Søren Hansen has just made a birdie at 13, 2 under par since the turn, 3 under par for the day, 9 under, sharing 6th place. And Roka's already made a par here at 10, but Roger Davis hasn't. Early days of his career, 1994, Andrew Coulthard finished tied 5th on this course in this tournament. He played the 1994 Eisenhower Trophy here, and America won. Tiger Woods was part of that team. There's a little museum at the back of the pro shop in the clubhouse, and all sorts of mementos, including a signed photograph of that American team. See, Michael Campbell has a chance to close the gap on Ernie Els. He can't go past him if he were to win, but Colin Montgomerie, by my calculations, if he were to win, and first prize is about £116,000, would probably go up to 4th place above Padraig Harrington in the Volvo Order of Merit. And the chase to catch Darren Clarke will be well and truly on. Clarke and Lee Westwood, along with Paul, Laurie, Ian Woosnam, Olaf Arbel, they all rejoin the European Tour next week at the Belfry. Strongest field of the year. This man will be defending. Not bad from there. Maybe Jonathan Lomas to play. It's just on the angle. No, I think Michael Campbell's shaping to play first. Now he looks across, and have I bought the dummy? Yeah, I think I might have done. Let's get across, go left, pan left camera. There we are. This is a more dangerous shot than the angle of approach Campbell's got. He's got to go over everything. Does just. Pin today only 7 paces on, so it's got about a 20 to 25 footer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think maybe the breeze fooled him a little. You tend to be down amongst the dunes, and it's a little hard working out. It's an elevated green as well. Scented shot from Campbell. Couldn't afford to underclub. Davis at 11. And a splendid response from a drop shot. Roger Davis is not done with this tournament yet. Reappeared on the scene last week in Catalonia. A real chance of a 2. Just through the green, that's the ball of Fernando Roca. Three pretty good tee shots. Slightly easier pin today. And yesterday was just on the green. 1 or 2 were falling short into the hazards. would think these are very close to record crowds for a French Open. The performance of Jean van der Velde has been a catalyst for continued interest, increased interest in the game. We've already got a very enlightened approach to encouraging talent to come through. And a big sporting day in Paris. The French Cup final is scheduled for 9 o'clock this evening. The Calais, the part-time non-leaguers almost, taking on the holders Nantes at Stade de France. And there'll be a lot of traffic coming down from Calais. Fortunately, we're headed the other direction to the airport. But there'll be one or two lucky so-and-sos that have got tickets for the golf today, and a little tea, high tea, and then off to the soccer. Colin Montgomery's a Leeds fan, but never mind. He's about as good with a wedge in his hand as the left foot of Harry Kewell. You tend to think of Colin Montgomery, the proud Scot. Grew up in Troon, but he actually spent a lot of his time in Harrogate in Yorkshire. Lomas securing his 4 of 10. Talk about the re-rank for those who've come out of the tour score. Nicholas van Hoetegem from Belgium, a 67, strong finish, 3 birdies in the last 5 holes. Indeed came home in 32. He was 6th in that ranking. He's cemented his position, may even move up above the likes of Malcolm Mackenzie. But that's a good start to the season. Of course, the re-rank's so important. Gets you starts in the next third of the season before the second re-rank, and there's a lot of money to be played for. Lomas remains within 1 shot of Colin Montgomery. Now, if Michael Campbell is to secure his 3rd win of the year and 3rd win of his career on the European Tour, he's got to start making putts such as this. This one's a fast one. May just move from the right. It's all about pace, really. Come on, turn. Not much wrong with it, except it didn't go in. Roger Vessels, who got out in 33, dropping a shot at 12. That's his first setback of the day. He's slipped back to 7 under, sharing 16th place. You can see all the scores. 79 players made it through to the weekend, including 1 amateur. The cut came at +1. Stays in front. 1 or 2 worrying, disconcerting signs on the 10th hole. They step across to 11 now, where David Guilford Judy made his 2 after a splendid tee shot. He's got back to 9 under. Let's see if Roger Davis can do likewise. Certainly his tee shot was as good as Guilford's. 2 splendid efforts. In fact, good enough to take a second look at. Much better tempo. The tee shot with the wood the previous hole was a blur. Be the right club, said the caddy. It certainly was. And an excellent 2 gets Roger back to 11 under, and he's now sharing 3rd place with Michael Campbell.
quiet, please.
And about to save his par at 12. Dropped a shot at 11. And Andrew Coulthard back at 11, having raced his birdie attempt past the hole, confidently hold for his 3. 5 shots behind still though. Players are still playing preferred lies on the fairways. Pretty damp. We had quite a bit of rain overnight. So the scene looking down at the 10th. That's finished for now. If there were to be a playoff, they'd play 18-18, then 15-18. And Lomas has got a 4-iron on this, the 11th hole, 192 yards on the card. Playing a little longer than that to pin 23 paces on. And just one shot behind it, showing no sign of backing off. This form has come a little bit out of the blue. One win back in '96, and that was the Czech Open, and has been slipping really since then. 105th in the money list last year, and no great shakes to start this season. So all in all, coping very well at the moment. Yeah, 5-iron for Colin Montgomery. So how far that can go. Yesterday at 18. See a newish set of irons in the bag, and just now and again he gets a real flyer off the middle. And that one was okay for length. At the same spot as Andrew Coulthard, it would come over the hump and then pick up speed. Difficult to have a go at holding it and keep it short. Front 9, he got a little lucky. I think it was 6. Hit a shoulder at the back and span back all the way to the pin, not getting it that time. And those breaks have a way of evening up. And Campbell will probably be chipping from the back. Well, those three are looking after each other. Who knows? Maybe Roger Davis might sneak through. Only hit half the fairways yesterday. But in round 1 he only missed 1 green in regulation. And again you see that's a much better tempo to the swing. You can just look, you can almost see the concentration. He knows he's got a chance, he knows that he's far and away the most experienced man in the field, and
just keep still,
he's trying
please.
to make that count. Not going to fail for the want of trying. It's a idiosyncratic swing, isn't it? I mean, it's hands pushed forward. Already he's got that right knee flexed in as if a reminder to get the weight onto the right on the backswing, just past the perpendicular, but everything nicely through the ball. Maybe doesn't get the weight completely onto the left-hand side, but it's a swing that served him well over the years. Fellow Aussie, John Senden, with his second shot to the par 5 14th. You see, and all he's got to do, but these things do happen, is pop that putt in, and suddenly he's at 12 under, and people are saying, John, who? Return to sender. Presley. I've not heard many sightings of Elvis Presley recently. I think something's happened to him. This is a fairly slopey, undulating green, not one of the easiest to putt on. Quite a big surface, and those figures really reflecting what most players would expect to find the green. But 2 putts from there is almost satisfactory. This is a quick little one for Michael Campbell. He's had 1 or 2 of these. This is probably about position Z in terms of just missing the green. Lies okay. Just a touch now. Check. Come on. Down you go, and he's almost played that too well. Just one correction I'm seeing to Nicholas van Hoetegem's score. He corrected to a 66, so he's in a share of 10th place at the moment at 8 under with the Sir Robert Coles, Nico Hearn, Miguel Angel Martin, Scott Rose, John van der Bellen, Rodilis, Carlos Rodilis, and Andrew Coulthard. And for Rodilis, maybe Robert Coles, top 10 would get them into next week's event. See, almost hitting on the upslope, and it will pick up pace once it gets over the hog's back, which is almost at the bottom half. Here it comes. Good pace. But he may be caught in a moment. Montgomery leader by 1 shot, but possibly not for long. Coming across the lope, so firm just outside left edge is the recommendation. And indeed is the solution. So Jonathan Lomas gets to 13 under. That's perhaps unlucky for Colin Montgomery. There's a tie at the top. Camera angles can be deceptive. I thought Monty was going to engage with French spectators in casual conversation. Imperative then that Michael Campbell makes this. If he doesn't, he slipped 3 shots behind. And that is unlucky, because there wasn't really much wrong with this tee shot. It was right over the pin. But he's back into a share of 4th place with John Senden now. And Senden poised to at least birdie the 14th. Roger Vessels has birdied 13 and 14 and par 15. He's got himself up to a share of 6th place at 9 under now, alongside Soren Hansen, David Guilford and Fernando Roca. And here's Sed Senden on the 14th. It's not an easy putt. I mean, sometimes they go in for eagle, but he's on one tier. He'll be putting down to another, so to unlock the mysteries of the various stages of this one. Almost get it to the top of the slope and let it slalom its way down towards the hole. But it is a putt that will put him within one shot of the lead. Best finish on the European Tour last year, tied 6th in the Smurfit European Open at the K Club. Pretty good first season as well, 69th in the money list. He's 29, 6'3". Now come on, is it? He hasn't left it. You think, oh, heart in mouth, have I left it? Now it's done. Now have I? Can I stop it? Well, he can. It was perhaps a touch tentative, but rather you than any of us, John. Important that Roger Davis found the 12th fairway. Pin cut over on the right hand side, left of the flag will do. Maybe a fraction heavy, maybe half a club short. Might have been a hole not to be so bold on, just to take you far. It's all gone a little quiet in the final group. Lomas trying to summon up the concentration. As I say, he won't have been in this position too often before, and not for some time. Did win in the winter, got married to Sally, and they went off on a slightly delayed honeymoon to Mauritius Open, where Mark Farry was a driving force, and indeed Farry finished poorly, and Jonathan found himself in a playoff with the Frenchman, which he duly run. So you're looking at the Mauritius Open champion. I think that one's okay. Was just pushed a fraction to the right, but the angle's deceptive. If anything, at worst, he should just be in the semi. Ball tee down for Colin Montgomery.
Sorry?
Suggests it, well, it might even be the 5 wood,
No.
which he hit here. I think it was in round 2 and hit it 300 yards. It looked like the 5, doesn't it? First time in the bag this week. May stay there for next week at the Belfry. The Bravazham course, which will be the venue for next year's Ryder Cup. They've revamped it. Quite a few changes have been made. Be interesting to see those next week. Michael Campbell's target is President's Cup, of course. That takes place later this year in the States. Left, but he may be okay. To 14, and John sent him for the birdie, which will put him into a share of 3rd place for Roger Davis, and just 2 behind. His wife is Elizabeth at caddies for him. Oh, that's a shame. Wife's Jackie, married last year. Still on course for his best finish in Europe, or on the European Tour. He twice won on the Challenge Tour. Didn't have a Challenge Tour in Rogers Day. Monday qualifying and all that. Quiet round in many ways for Andrew Coulthard so far, just the one birdie. So 33 putts, 30 and 30. Not really what's required. The main thing is that he feels he's putting better. Jean van der Velde to make a par for at the 13th. So 2 drop shots since the turn. No French winner. Now he left himself about this length at 10 and missed out. And as we were saying, you just can't keep doing this. Come on. So back to 10 under. Last 4 holes. He's gone eagle, bogey, birdie, bogey. But again, if he can get through 13 without damage, who knows? This is a birdie putt for Fernando Roca. 31-year-old from Barcelona. He's twice been second on tour, but this is probably the best field he's played in. Sponsors invite. Halfway was the first time he'd led a tournament on the European Tour. I think he thought he'd got that. Computer showing that was for par and therefore bogey. And they're saying now it's saying he's still 9 under, so it might have been par. Find out in time. None of pressing urgency unless you're Spanish. Let's have a look. They've changed it now. Where's he gone? It was a par. Good news, Spain. Roca still 9 under. My computer going a little crazy now. 66 for Robert Coles from England. 6 birdies, no drop shots, out in 33, back in 33, and he leads in the clubhouse now at 9 under. As good as he can manage. Pin on this 12, 31 paces on. 77 yards for Colin Montgomery. It's on the safe side. And he's due a putt. Opportunity for Jonathan Lomas to get closer, but even so, there's maybe 12. You can take it one shot at a time, I know, but 12 and 13 will be 2 holes where par will do. It's got 164, but it's not a brilliant line. The stance is, it should hook off here, and it's not a pin that he can get close. You shouldn't even be thinking of taking the pin on. One hand comes off. Doesn't like it. Maybe it's a flyer. There it goes to the, oh, now that's a good break, because that could so easily gone pump into the fringe behind, but it sat down very quickly. So we're about an hour, just over an hour into our coverage of this final round of the French Open, and it's proving some afternoon. Colin Montgomery made the best possible start with a birdie at the first hole, and he had a chance to record birdie number 2 in what was a frustrating front 9. 8 pars and just that 1 birdie at the first out in 35. Michael Campbell started with a drop shot, picked up birdies at 4 and 5, but got into problems at 7, dropped the shot and hasn't really recovered. That would be some story if Roger Davis could become the oldest winner on the European Tour. 1 birdie, 1 par to 9. 1 eagle. Out at 34. He'd drop a shot at 10. The Australian, who's 49 on May the 18th. Produced a cracking response at the 11th. In for 2. But he dropped a shot at 12. It's a roller coaster for Roger. Jonathan Lomas has never been in the final group on a Sunday before. He's made a quiet start to the season. Within Tiger Woods red, he's starting to put that right. That was his first birdie after 8 pars, out in 35. Par at 10. And then at 11. Four iron. 1 putt. And it's an unlikely tie at the top. I thought it might be Campbell giving Montgomery a run for his money, but it's the Shropshire lad from Hill Valley, Jonathan Lomas, also at 13 under. And those 2, 3 clear of the field. Will be Lomas to play first. And that's why he's up, just looking at the effect of the slope. Again, he's got one of these humps to come over. It's a question of pace and swing.
Leave it in.
Not a bad pace on this one. Oh no, it didn't take the slope. It looks worse than it actually was, but from Jonathan Lomas's point of view, it's bad enough. And you wouldn't bet against Monty seizing his opportunity and holding his. He knows this might be the moment to strike, and champions have that habit, don't they? Peter Coleman, who, if you haven't seen, been with us over the last week, 2 weeks, is on Monty's bag for the duration of Alistair McLean's honeymoon. Alistair will be back with Monty next week, and Peter Coleman will be back with Bernhard Langer at the Belfry. But they've had 7 rounds so far together, and each one has been under par. Mind you, you and me could probably carry Monty's bag, and he wouldn't be far over par. Giving it a go, isn't he? He knew. And it's one that Michael Campbell surely has to make. Holes just beginning to run out. Now he's got that one. He's back in the equation. 3rd on his own now. Came on the scene in '95, had a bet with Colin Montgomery, £100 a round. It all started with a bet on the rugby All Blacks against Scotland, which he won. Monty wanted double or quits, and they did it each round they played in the same tournament. At the end of the season, though, he played very well. Michael Campbell found himself a couple of grand down. Søren Hansen, second into the oh so dangerous 15th, and hold on, well, that's okay. And Søren is at 9 under. He's picked up 3 shots today, hasn't recorded a bogey as yet. And that is Jonathan Lomas's first drop shot of the final round. So he will slip back to 12. 1 clear of Michael Campbell, and Colin Montgomery, if he pops this one, will lead on his own again. Associate Colin Montgomery with churning out the pars. That's Nick Faldo, who's won this trophy more than once. That's his trademark, as it were. But Monty just keeping the pack at bay. Not quite at his best. Now they have 13. Dangerous hole. Jason Hanning, don't worry about it. Almost with 6 holes to play, to be within 1 shot of Colin Montgomery, you'd almost take your chance with that. John Sendon's second across the water to 15. Over on the safer left side now. Has he overdone that? Oh, he has. Now he's got a frightening chip back. Davis has got himself in good shape at 13. Pin just over the water. No, unlucky that didn't spin more, but percentage shot. Bertie Benagi, the first round leader. And he's held up pretty well, all things considered. Now go spin, wheel spin away from winning a Renault Espace. He should get to 6 under, which will get him back into almost into the top 20. Roger Davis over for another summer in Europe. He's been coming for a while now. Got no real worries about retaining his card. His position in the career money list will take care of that. And then, of course, around about this time next year, we'll be joining the senior ranks. He would probably hope to do that in the States if he could. Pay for so much more money there, but he would make a very tidy living, no doubt, on the European circuit, which is growing year by year. Turn. That's okay. Four's okay here. Check. Brave shot. Good shot. But I don't think it's going to be John Senden who sets a target in the clubhouse. Colin Montgomery then back in the lead by 1. Michael Campbell back in the picture, 2 behind. Senden scrambling, hopefully a par at 15. Roger Davis should make his 4 at 13, and then we'll look to take advantage of the 14th. Robert Coles with a splendid round of 66, leading the clubhouse at the moment, and a steady week for the likes of Roger Vessels. That's the crowd beginning to congregate around 18. Of course, many more out on the course, and this is a stadium course built with spectators in mind. There's the Novotel where many of the players are staying. In fact, the guy in the room next to me was up, keen he was up at 6:30 putting this morning. So if I sat and nod off, you'll know why. And then to the right of the hotel, as you look at it, there's the pro shop, and behind that this little museum that's got the clubs that Arnold Massey used when he won the first French Open in 1906. He won 4 in total. Pictures of Jean Garialdi and various golfing memorabilia. John Vanderbilt quite a way back at the par 5. Fogdog.com. It's a new one on me. Have they missed the R out? This is the 13th. You can see the water on the right, which is a little dangerous, but plenty of room on the left, and then you turn around about 2 o'clock and across the water. And the main problem is the pin placing. You've got only 9 paces on, 6 from the right. And other times those trees rather grow across and can influence your shot as well. Kidney shaped green, as so many are here, one of the flatter greens on the course. Roger Davis just walking off. He made his par to stay at 10 under. Andrew Coulthard made a 3 and got himself back to 9 under. That's one slightly against the head. And a par 4 Fernando Roca is also at 9 under. All ranked 5th hardest on the course. Jose Caceres, the man who won so well in Dubai, has just completed his French Open, a round of 68, and sharing 12th place at 8 under now. And 42 yards for Jonathan Lomas. doesn't want to be right. The water laps up against the edge of the green. Only about 5 yards leeway. So whenever you go too far left, of course that tree on the right of your picture, we're looking from behind the green, looking back down across the water to the fairway. That can come into play as well. Just checking the breeze, but there's not much of it. Conditions, touch wood, are holding up well. Eight iron. Just starting on the left-hand side and understandably a little cautious. Had that been right, it would have been in the water. Anders Hansen, who was one of our 3 halfway leaders. This is Soren Hansen, who's no relation, but they are roommates. And it's Soren who's winning the battle of the Hansens at the moment. Anders is down at 7 under. Soren will remain at 9 under. This is a 9-9, 134 yards. No, doesn't want to spin. Don't spin. Oh, that's it, I'm afraid. So much action on that. Slope didn't help. In the water. And well, he may not be quite into the water. We're hearing from the course, Howard Clark out there, that may not have spun back all the way. Maybe in the hazard, in the boundary of the hazard, but not in the water. So he may just be able to get away with that. If he can't, the chances surely have gone. Not really what Colin Montgomery wanted to see either. I suspect this one will be quite a way past the pin. Right, spinning back. Look at that, it's further than he'd anticipated, but it's okay, and a birdie chance. Brave shot in the circumstances. You'd expect no less from the world number 3. Around about 3:30 local time, when the storm clouds arrived the last 2 days, around about 5 o'clock, so we may just get away with this. Sean van der Bell for birdie 4 at 14. He's played the par 5s pretty well this week on occasions. Other times he's not played so well. He's had a couple of 7s in round 2 that probably undid his challenge. There's a view of the dangerous pin at the 16, but really it looks dangerous. But if you hit it sort of left 10 paces or so, it will gather down the slope towards the pin, so not quite as hard as it looks. Soren Hansen, who is the touring professional for Simon's Club, and that's a beauty. Oh, close to the gate. One, he didn't pass. He's picked up a BMW, didn't he? Was it last year or the year before in Germany, Berliner Sporting Club, a BMW Roadster? He won and, got a hole in one at Qatar, I think. Was it this year? No, last year. Get myself a bit mixed up. He had 2 holes in one of the year. One got him a car, one didn't. Now he can move the stake. He's allowed to move the stake. No problem there. Just don't throw it in the water.
What? The ball's not in the hazard, is it?
But he.
So the line goes around it. The ball seems to be going around it. Right. Is that paint there on that thing there? Yeah. Christ.
Just trying to determine if the ball is in the hazard or not.
What, does it have to be touching the line, then it's in the hazard, yeah? Well, yeah, I mean, if it's on the line or it's in the hazard, but... If it's touching the line, it's in the hazard, yeah?
The trouble is, Colin Montgomery's not quite the expert on the rules he thinks he is. Maybe work for John Paramore. We haven't seen him today yet.
Between us, I mean, who's got your card? John card. Right, will you make a decision? Is it on the
The difference is if he's not in the hazard, he can ground the club behind the ball. If he is, he can't.
So what do you want to do? I want to find out whether the ball's in my hazard or not.
So much at stake. TV cameras peering in. Call for a referee.
You can't touch the line. So you can't touch the line. Yeah, but hang on a minute. What do you want to do here? You want to ground your club? If you touch the line, that's the hazard. Yeah, but if the ball's outside the hazard though, you still can't touch it. Yeah, you can't touch it.
Now they're saying the ball not in the hazard, so can he then ground
Well, I can't ground the club anyway.
in the hazard?
Well, it's so close you can't anyway. No. If you're in the water. No. Can't touch the line. I don't even touch the line. Correct. Ball puts on there.
I'd call for a referee because I've seen Monty in the past.
Obviously, you can't ground the club while you're in the hazard. I thought it'd be outside the hazard.
He's confidence, but I'm never so sure.
Yeah. Yeah? Clarky, you're rolling.
Or Howard Clark across. They won't get it from Howard Clark, but Howard warning a rules official. That's the safest way. Don't, you know, there's so much at stake. Don't take a chance. It won't take a minute for a referee to arrive. They're all round the course. We'll go to 16, isn't it? John Senden. Made his par at 15, still at 10 under. This one to the left, and will it run down? He's trying, but now he's got a very quick putt again.
Ball's on the green. You have a practice swing here. Well, you ground your club and lean on it like that.
Yeah, Monty doesn't really want to be involved in this now. He's going to concentrate on his own shot and leave Michael Campbell to get his ruling from John Paramore, one of his merry men. Not holding anybody up. So I think Jonathan Lomas is saying, well, while we're waiting, why don't I putt up? Davis quite likes that one. It's a tiger line. Over on that left-hand side, just brings the green a little closer. One bombling for Lomas, but he's more or less built that into the equation and should make his fourth. I think if he's not in the hazard, he can ground his club. If the ball's not in the hazard. That would be fair. There's maybe some dispute over exactly where the line is.
Behind you, Michael.
I think the referee has arrived. It's a buggy there. Maybe belonging to us then, maybe one of the TV camera buggies.
Not the hazard in one.
Guy Hunt. Well, listen.
I think the thing is, we decided that we had John right. Now, can I actually ground my club?
Oh yeah, if the ball isn't in the hazard, you can, yes.
So I can.
You can ground the club in
If the ball is not in the hazard, you can ground the club in the hazard.
Can you?
Yes.
All right, okay.
If the ball is in the hazard, you can't. Okay.
So the ball's outside the hazard, so I can ground my club.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, for both. Certainly could be outside, couldn't it?
Well, that's all very simple with me, isn't it? All he has to do is hold it. That would really annoy Monty. Told you, a couple of years ago when he got involved with Ken Brown and Lee Westwood on a ruling, and Monty actually got it wrong, but was so confident that he got it right, everybody went along with him. Well, that was a pretty good shot. He could clip the reed on the back. Clip the reed, and that could have been, you could have twitched on that one and almost had an air shot, but he's okay, and hopefully we'll get away with the 4. Had he been in the hazard itself, he might have been in trouble for removing the stake. And this means that there will be no hold up at 14 for this match. That's slightly to Colin Montgomery's advantage, that they can play at a decent pace. More to the point, he's got a really makeable putt now on this to get to 14 under. Improve the mood, and well, he's leaving the door open for his challenges. Not a dominating Colin Montgomery. Yesterday he found he had to shoot low 60s, and 65 was just what he ordered. But he's got his dander up at the moment. Bit of good fortune for Michael Campbell. Can he make it count? Well done. Just 2 shots behind now. A good reassuring 4 for Jonathan Lomas. Just a moment or two ago, this was John Senden with this putt from the top of the 16th down the slope. For a 2. Oh. Well, it's one of those, really, isn't it? It could so easily have gone in, but if it hadn't hit, the hole might have so easily been 6 feet past. He'd take the 3 and remain at 10 under. Boy, David Guilford's just taken 6 at the 14th. He struggled this week with the par 5s. Not the longest of players, and he slipped back to 8 under. No real problem for the Monty group anyway, because there's a hold up on 14. They may even, despite all the shenanigans at 13, have to wait once they get to the tee. Fernando Roca is just waiting for the group ahead to clear. That's the Santiago Luna, Alex Chaker, Carlos Rodilas match. Luna 7 under. 1 ahead of Chaker and 1 behind Rodilas. $14,552 yards. Second longest hole on the course. There's been the one eagle here. And I should remember who that was. I think it might have been Roger Vessels. Let me check. And it was Gonzalez in round 1, so it was close. Helicopter past there. Might have been a twin squirrel. Seems to be a feature of the par 5s, the ability to lead players with longish bunker shots from green side. Coulthard coming off that birdie at 13. Doesn't particularly like that one, but it's okay, but a long chip and run. Pin is 32 paces on from there, so he's got about the best part of 40 yards. Be 30 next week. Going to take wife and baby daughter to the Belfry with him. Roger Davis using all his experience, hugging that left side, trying to get as close as he can to the green, but no, he's got a wretched shot now. Anywhere but there, really. It's about 50 yards out of the bunker. So not too long a wait for the final 3 ball. If you're long enough, the right side would do. And that, I'm afraid, has gone to the left, so he's got a blind shot. The line might be okay. It might not be quite as bad as he fears. But of course, he's got to come across everything. Soren Hansen, by the way, he saw his tee shot at 16. Chance or two, he didn't take it. He's made 3, remains at 9 under. Now the leader. That's exactly where he would want to put it, up the right centre of the fairway, just turning a little. Really needs to hit this one out of the screws. Lomas, if he's to get home into slight edge on these 2 par 5s to come, or certainly on this one for Colin Montgomery, but he's not far behind. He took the hat off him to swing it so hard. Now, let's go to 18. We talked about somebody coming out of the pack, and this is Roger Vessels, who's 10 under. He's just made a birdie at 17. He's got this for eagle, and he could post a target if it were to go in at 12 under. his first cut since the Greg Norman Invitational down at the Lakes in Sydney. A wretched shot this is for Roger Davis. Time and time again, the pros play these so well, but it's slightly on an upslope. Looks to be lying okay, and he's really got to get it to just short of the slope and let it release down to the pin. So he's got to hit this about 40 yards, maybe nearer 50. And this, oh, he got backspin. Still might be, no, he's going to stay up there. Well, the crowd applauded it. Well, the last thing Roger wanted was, oh, that's why it's so difficult, really. Vessels for a round of 66. Well, that's a shame. It's a round of 67, and overall he's had a very good week. He sets the target in the clubhouse at 10, and he just had a little chance of maybe certainly a top 3 finish. Vessels at the moment sharing 4th place with Davis and Sendon. Now Jean. Close to the water, keeps his shoes and socks on, and makes the 3. I think he was winning it, wouldn't he? Well, that's good for golf in this country. Hoping this will come round and swing as well, which it's starting to do. Not bad. Ongoing story of the Hansens. Anders Hansen made a 2 at 16, so he's 8 under, 1 behind Soren now. Fernando Roca with a slightly easier bunker shot. It's that much closer, of course. Not so much spin, but even so, still checks on the slope. And just hearing that's his 4th shot as well. I hope you're enjoying this coverage on our world feed from Paris. Just me, Steve Beddow, on my own, and occasionally you need a break. That's when the leaderboards come up. You know that it's been a natural rate, but unfortunately at the moment, the machine responsible for the leaderboards is broken, which is not good news, I assure you. So we'll just see if we can hang on. Roger Davis looking to leapfrog into a share of 3rd place. Very unlucky with his 3rd. It almost span back up the hill, and now he's got a downhill putt with a big swing from right to left. Many would begrudge him that. Hey! That was worth the wait, and Roger Davis gets to 11 under. And into a share of third place now. It's still on the late run on the blind side. He needs a birdie at 15 or 17, and then maybe something special at 18. Now this could be good. Broker for his par. Shot goes. Really good final round for the veteran Irishman. The oldies are doing well. There's Smith, home in 32 for a 67. He finishes at 6 under. 68 for Van Phillips. 67 for Ignacio Garrido. A 68, as we mentioned at the start of our coverage, for Retief Huston, defending champion. Double bogey at 13, 4 birdies in the last 5 holes. 71 for Steen Tinning. Still a little bit of a hold up on this 14th. The leaders waiting back down the fairway. Andrew Coulthard for birdie. With the benefit of hindsight, and knowing that Michael Campbell's hit the ball 265, he probably shouldn't really take this pin on, because he did have that. Well, I suppose Davis did and got up and down from the bunker, but a little right and leaving himself a run up would probably be the percentage shot. He's got 281 yards to go to the flag. I'm not sure he can carry it all that way. Oh, that's good though. No, I think he's hit that. Well, he's okay. He's pushed that out a little to the right, and there you can see he's got an approach. It's not an easy shot, far from it, but you know, he can see what he's got to do. He's on that top half and let it release down towards the flag. Now Lomas really on. He's hit it 276 yards. It's a big drive, but he's really, with 272 yards to go, he's on the limits of his distance really. We can sling this and get a running draw. Too happy with that. Maybe. Well, it's okay. Long way from the hole, but he will be putting. Of course, he's put a bit of pressure on Colin Montgomery, and don't run away with the idea that Monty doesn't feel pressure. If that's his preferred lie, so he's allowed to lift and clean and replace within 6 inches. No closer to the hole. He's got 270 yards left, which is 238 to the front of the green. It may be the 3-wood. Just too big a carry for the 5. It is a 3-wood. but this could be the shot that wins the French Open for Colin Montgomery. It wouldn't go in for a 2, would it? Oh! Well, he's got a long, proud history of hitting drivers, 3 woods, 5 woods off the deck when it matters most, and that is without doubt the shot of the week. He doesn't look too. He won't know how close it is. He's might be smiling in a moment. That's going to take him to 15 under. Sensational shot. Now to 17, John Senden. Almost certainly now looking for the minor placings, really. Montgomery might have shut the door on all but Lomas and perhaps Campbell. Come on. Well, he's still 4 under for the day. So Senden's still on course for his best finish on tour, and this is 2nd season. But what a shot from Colin Montgomery. 270 yards with the 3 wood. He's left himself about 9 inches for an eagle that will take him to 15 under. And Jonathan Lomas may get his birdie, but even so, he's going to slip a shot behind. Monty is looking a very good bet now.
Stand, please.
Well, with Colin Montgomery's shot so close, Michael Campbell simply has to get up and down here. Little pacey. Good week for Peter O'Malley, who's made birdie at 18 to go with 2 at 16, 68, 9 under. As John Senden drives off, you can hear not so far behind him the applause as Colin Montgomery approaches the 14th. Marks his ball, now knows how good his 2nd shot was. And a little bit more relaxed. Let's take a look at it again. 270 yards. 3 wood flying it all the way. Pitch is there now. He knows it's going to be good. He doesn't know quite how. It disappears from view. 3 or 4 more rolls would have been an albatross on the albatross course. Course created at the start of the 1990s, purpose built on the side of an old rubbish tip in the industrial part of outer Paris. Of course, where you feel that the ocean should be just over the horizon, rather than some 200 miles or so away. put the cat amongst the pigeons if Jonathan Lomas could pop this one in, but must be starting to suspect that he's maybe playing for second, even though there are a couple of dangerous holes to come. Here he comes now. He wants it to slow down, he wants it to turn as well. Looking better and better for Monty. Maybe against anybody else, Michael Campbell could have got away with his lack of competitive action over recent weeks, but when you're up against Colin Montgomery, it's just a different ball game, really. And a shot goes for Campbell. He slips back into a share of fourth place with John Senden and Roger Vessels. At the moment, 3 behind and shortly to go 5 behind Colin Montgomery. So it's not going to be win number 3 surely for Michael Campbell. Next will be Lomas. Increasingly more relaxed Colin Montgomery. Jakobsen's going well with the run towards the close. He's made birdies here at 14, 15 and 16. Got himself to 9 under. Just one off the first page of our mini leaderboard. There he is. Second place money, almost £78,000, which is a little more than 12,000 more than Jamie Spence won for winning the Moroccan Open, but it's not just about the money. Oh dear, 3 putts and Colin Montgomery about to go 3 ahead.
Please. Thank you.
Four holes still to go, but surely an eagle at 14 has all but won the French Open for Colin Montgomery.
Was that the secure
Peter Coleman wandering past the microphone and said, well, that doesn't cheer him up, nothing will. And Coleman will be quietly smiling himself. He's very close to a very tasty bonus. Roger Davis from good position, second to 15. it takes a bit of pressure off Roger. He realistically knows he's playing for a share of second place now, and that's a fine shot. There's the 15th, and there have been some real horror stories there. The worst score, the 10 from Per Orki Hansen yesterday. He also had a 6 in the first round, but there have been any number of 6s. There have been 7s and 8s. 46 birdies during the course of the week. Second hardest on the course, and far from being the longest, just a yard short of 400. There's the cavalry. It's probably only an ambush by Apaches that can stop Monty winning this now. Reflect back on putts that got away, but I think it's been the week where everybody were doing that, even Monty.
That's on the right. Yeah, that's where that last red's taken. Nice one, Luke, haven't they?
Might be the little 5 wood, might be the 3 wood. They're both favoured clubs and have earned their keep.
Stay right. Stay right.
That's long. I think the lie's okay. A bit of a fly there, and he's opened up the green. All he needs to do really is just play for the centre. No point in being over bold. Let others challenge if they can. His birthday, but unfortunately the party's been gate crashed by Colin Montgomery. Bit of good fortune away for Michael Campbell. Didn't want to be an old divot mark with shot across water. Second across water at 18 for John Sendon. Safely on. They have a putt for eagle, which could be worth many dollars, euros, pounds even. Left of your picture 15, and on the right 18. There's no doubt that Colin Montgomery has taken the significant move in the last few moments, but let's tell you the story of the day so far. Michael Campbell at the 12th, out in 36, couple of birdies, couple of bogeys. He dropped a shot at 11. got it back at 12 and was still very much in the picture at that stage. Roger Davis bidding to become the oldest winner on tour. Eagle at 9, he got him out in 34, he dropped a shot at 10, he would drop one at 12, but in between, a 2 at 11. Davis showing a few signs of wilting. This for birdie at 14 after a bunker shot that had spun back up the slope. He sits at it apart at the dangerous 15. Now Jonathan Lomas is 32 today, 8 pars, and then the first present arrived. Birdie at 9, out in 35. It was better to come. The birthday boy at 11 with a 4-iron. Paving the way for a birdie 2 and a share of the lead. But the shot of the day, shot of the week, maybe shot of the year so far. Colin Montgomery, just the one birdie at the opening hole, pars all the way until this, second at 14. 3 wood, 270 yards. Eagle 3, bonsoir. By 3 with 4 to play. Lomas maybe fighting for second. Davis in there as well. And leader in the clubhouse, Roger Vessels from South Africa. It's been a majestic performance from Colin Montgomery in many ways, because he's at times not looked as comfortable certainly as he did yesterday. 167 yards for Michael Campbell across the water. 6-iron for the Kiwi. Oh, that is judgment. That is judgment. I suspect Jonathan Lomas won't be hitting it on quite the same line. Sensible play, and it's all that Colin Montgomery needs, particularly as he's coming out of the semi-rough. Just Peter Coleman saying middle of the green. Last flag, that's the flag that on the tented village. He's got 147 yards left. And only an 8-iron.
Go left.
Wow. Would you believe it? I think that's in the water. I think that's in the water. And that's an unbelievable error from Colin Montgomery. He's got the tournament in his pocket and he's gone, and oh, must have been a miscue. Could not have been intentional. I'm just thinking, is that hazard lateral or a water hazard will make a big difference? Red stakes, and he might get away with a 5. If it's yellow, he's got problems. Here it comes. Let's take a close look at this now. Unbelievable. Now, does bounce. It's red stakes, bounces on the green, so that's where it crossed. Then you can see the red line. That's where it crossed the line of the hazard, and that's significant because he can now drop within 2 club lengths, no nearer the hole, but greenside and can be putting for a 4, so he could conceivably even save par. But it's a bad misjudgment. maybe a bit of tension. And, well, be happy to get down in 2. Birdie at the last for Nick Cohern, the left-hander, 70, finishing at 8 under. Colin Montgomery. I don't know. Davis is struggling at 16, isn't he? Lomas not that close at 15. It's still looking very comfortable for Colin Montgomery, but not as cushy as it should have been. Just establishing where it crossed into the red line. That means it's lateral. Got 2 club lengths. Not dissimilar to just across the water. You can use a driver to measure the 2 club lengths. Yesterday, of course, he went across the lateral into the water at the back of 18 and was able to drop just on the fringe, and indeed had a putt for birdie. The problem with the second shot was that he got a flyer, but even so the line was a little bit risky, bearing in mind the possibility of a flyer coming out of the semi-rough. Hansen Saga update. Soren a bogey at 17 and as a par, so they're both locked at 8 under now. Meanwhile, just across on 18, send them for an eagle. Not dissimilar to the putt that Roger Vessels had a while ago. And pretty much the same result, I'm afraid. Still a bit to do for birdie. It's a big ask, but if Jonathan Lomas can make this one, giving it a chance. Ooh. Send him for a 67 and the clubhouse lead. No, again, the 2 par 5s have cost him dear. Only pars when there were birdie opportunities to 68. It's still a very good week, and it's still possibly his best or his highest finish on the European Tour. 10 under. He shares the clubhouse lead with the time being with Roger Vessels. Also in a share of 4th place, Michael Campbell, but first it will be Colin Montgomery. No, he's only dropped 3 shots during the course of the week. And one was here in round 2. Soren Hansen, by the way, a par at the last, and he's finished with a 78 under, share of 11th at the moment. Now, if Lomas's putt had dropped, there would have been a lot of pressure on Colin Montgomery, and he was just a half a roll away from saving par. So only the 4th bogey of the week, but it could have been worse. Not over yet, though. It's just 3 dangerous holes to go, a 2-shot margin. Roger Davis second at 16. Needs to hurry. Miguel Martinez 71. He's finished at 7 under. Former winner of this French Open, the first winner here at Golf Nest now. No birdie for Campbell. Well, it will be just a question of the size of the chance of real glory are gone. Beautiful second, but 3 putts and 2 bogeys in a row. And Michael Campbell's out of contention, back into a share of 6th place. And with Roger Davis struggling a par at 15, actually helps Jonathan Lomas strengthen his grip on maybe 2nd place. Problems for Fernando Roca, must have driven in the water at 16. He's carded a double bogey 5. He slipped out of the frame really. He's 6 under now. Monty by 2 then from Lomas. Sending the vessels in the clubhouse. Roger Davis with plenty to do to stay at 10 under. And to do so he'll need this putt. No, it's been really too much of an up and down since the turn. He's had 2 birdies, he's had 3 bogeys though. So Lomas has a little 2-shot cushion from between 2nd and 3rd. Just look at that crowd as well. Wonderful to see. Surely Colin Montgomery won't make the same mistake again and push this one to the right. This is how it looked a year or 2 ago. Not much has changed. Maybe the bushes have grown a little, maybe the fish are a little bigger, but the layout is still the same. The pin place is almost traditional now. Lomas will have the honour. All that on the card is 175 yards. 3 last chances to claim that motor vehicle. It's actually 166 yards. 174 yards I'm hearing to the pin. Decision time in a way for Lomas. Does he really go for glory, or does he think, well, 2nd place behind Colin Montgomery is not bad? 6 iron. Heavy, he said, but okay, just as well maybe. And a little unlucky not to release down the slope. To the 17-2 mighty blows for this one. 470 yards. That's the first essential find the fairway. If Colin Montgomery can get there with a 7. Actually between a 6 and a 7. It looks like the 7 to me. This one's a lot safer. the ball just closer to us as we look from our camera position above the back of the green. Michael Campbell on the verge of a repeat of his last round 75 in 98. The lead is 2, and it looks between the top 2 now. Obviously Sandon and Vessels can't get any closer. Roger Davis might, but realistically 2 the maximum of shots that he can pick up. Good finish from Robert Coles, and also Peter O'Malley. But it looks to be between Montgomery and Lomas, and Munty still very much in the driving seat. John Sender more or less assured of his best finish on tour, and great performance from Roger Vessels. 39-year-old now in his 6th year on the European tour. He's, having the family are coming over for the summer. He's got an apartment at Millride where he's used the practice facilities, availed himself of those in the past. Donald Still Golf Course, handy for Heathrow, handy for Ascot Racecourse. Roger's a betting man, mind you. Roger Davis might like a flutter, and so might Andrew Coulthard on occasions. He's kept battling away, not much has happened for him really. Pars at 15 and 16. But still sharing 6th place, and if he can get up and down and make something happen at the last. Away to the left, but safely on, and slightly misled. That was cutting back and pin high. That's an excellent shot. And even if he's not going to win, it's been a great week for Roger Davis. And Michael Campbell first to play, then it will be Colin Montgomery, and Jonathan Lomas closest of the 3 on this 16th. And Campbell, the putting stroke of a desperate man, really, just trying to force it when nothing's going for him. Now John, the last eagle here yesterday, won yet again to delight the crowds. He's at 8 under, 2 under for this round. To choose between Jonathan Lomas and Colin Montgomery. I thought it was probably going to be Lomas that was closest, but in fact he's the putt first. It's a big swing on this one, but if he can make it, it really could be a significant move. Now come on, here it's turns. Has it got the pace? Has it got? It's got the pace, but not quite the turn. 18 for Soren Hansen. He's finished 69, 9 under, 1 ahead of Anders, who finished with a 71. So the two Danes again performing well. Low side just. 72 for the tall American. Scott Rowe finishes at 6 under. David Park out in 35 but back in 38, double at 13, dropped the shot at 14. The Welshman 73 to also finish at 6 under. Once again at 18, this is Freddie Jakobsen, third shot, having to lay up. You have to get we sort of lively talk about getting on in two, but you have to get your drive into the right position, push it a little bit right, and it precludes the opportunity to go for two, and unless you take an unacceptable risk. So this is the third shot, copper beryllium wedge. This will get plenty of stop. There we go, spinning back, and well, he's going to get his 4, and that will be around a 68 for Jakobsen, 10 under. Man who only kept his card 2 years ago by getting into a playoff in the Belgium Open, then lost it last year. He's on the way back. The applause, though, is David Guilford is in the greenside bunker in 2, but the applause, when it comes, will be for Jean van der Velde. 16, Monty taps in for his birdie to stay at 14 under. For his par, beg your pardon. Leads by 2 for Lomas, who made his 3, but more misery for Michael Campbell. 3 bogeys in a row now. He missed the one back, and he's at 8 under, out of the top 10. It's deja vu for the Kiwi. Meanwhile at 17, Roger Davis for 33. He remains at 10 under. Very important that a birdie at the last could be worth an awful lot of money. He's currently in a three-way tie for third place, and the birdie will put him third on his own. Here's the 17th, the hardest fairway to find, and Jonathan Lomas missed it yesterday. Got a drop out of ground under repair, tried to get another one out of casual water, but wasn't successful and dropped the shot. Splits the fairway today. David Guilford back from the bunker at 18. And will that take the pace off it? Here it comes. It could be very good. Yep.
Sure.
As far as I can recall, he's only missed one fairway today. I suppose technically that counts as a fairway miss because it's off the cup. It's a harsh judgment, and Monty won't mind too much. Grandstand finish for Jean van der Velde. So this goes in, you wait for the roar. Right applause. This one for around a 69, and we'll put him into a share of 6th place at the moment. Probably only for a brief instant, because Freddie Jacobson is also at 9 under, and surely will go to finish at 10. Well, I'm glad the sun has shone and the storm clouds have stayed away, and John has played well, because there's no doubt these are excellent crowds for this French Open. For everybody involved in the French Federation, encouraging times. That's the finish they wanted. He thinks he's a hero around these parts. The little animals as well. I don't know what fog dog is. Maybe a misspelling. Second week back for David Guilford. This also for a round of 69. Good workmanlike week. It's about as excited as he gets on the outside. He too finishes at 9 under. So they've moved into a share of 6th place, but I say they're going to drop down to 7th in a minute, because a really barnstorming finish from Freddie Jacobson. This for 4 birdies in the last 5 holes, and a round of 68, and a share of 3rd place at the moment. Well, in 35, back in 33, despite a drop shot at 11. And maybe that there will be no end of season pressure this time around for Freddie Jacobson, and he may look back with some satisfaction on his Sunday in Paris. 3rd place on its own, 43, almost 44,000, so share it about a little bit, and he's still looking at the best part of 30 to 35,000 pounds. Not easy to be the leading home player, and apart from that second round, Sean van der Velde has performed admirably. Second for Michael Campbell to the 17th, looking to end this horror run of bogeys. He's got 203 yards left, 3 iron. It's not for want of attempt. Maybe he's been over bowled. Just maybe pressing too hard. Coulthard dropped a shot here at 17, sadly. He's back into a share of 12th place now, alongside Michael Campbell at 8 under.
Do the front line too. 174.
No, Jonathan Lomas could just somehow, it's asking a lot, put this very close. Who knows? Clouds getting darker in the horizon, but I think we're going to beat them. 182 yards, 5 iron. just what the doctor ordered. That gives him a chance of a 3. Couldn't really take on the pin. It's cut fairly close to the left-hand side and could have fallen away if you were left into the bunker. Mind you, every time they ask a question of Colin Montgomery, he seems to have the answer and then a bit. Lies? Oh, the stance is not great. He's got 181 yards. And he's a little undecided. Maybe it was just a bit of breeze, which is it's helping. But it's a 6-iron. Can't really afford to take this pin on. It's got to be right. Called it a bit heavy and just coming up short, but I think it'd be out of par. Big tee shot for Roger Davis. Must make birdie. So that's good. It will increase the size of his check, and he's never been averse to a little bit of the filthy lucre as Roger. He's had it, he's lost it, he's making it again. He really has played well this week. You can see what it means at the moment. A 4-way tie for third place, and Roger can, with a birdie, secure third on his own. And maybe if Jonathan Lomas were to air, maybe get a share of second. But at the moment, still Montgomery by 2 from Lomas. Lomas, though, has the chance to close the gap maybe to 1 going to the last. So it's conceivable that there may be a little more mileage in this tournament. Elsewhere, players have had good weeks. Carlos Rodriguez would love a birdie at the last. It might get him into the top 10, and that would get him into the Benson Hedges. So many players have different targets. The re-rank that we've told you about, Scott Rowe should get one of those 12 places in the B&H and one of the top 20 re-ranks of those who qualified from the Tour Score at San Roque last winter. Robert Carlson back on the European Tour, quietly going about his business. Good final round, 67 from Ireland's Des Smith. There's a view from our high camera, still up there, so any thunder and lightning has to be some distance away. And shirt-sleeved crowd, some in shorts, enjoying the weather, enjoying the golf even more. It's a little more straightforward than 1 or 2 he's had. I think before the day is through, or the night is through, they may have 1 or 2 more storms. They've been hanging about not so many miles away, but mercifully not now going to have a say in the outcome of this tournament. That's unless we have something like a 7-8 hole playoff. And this man can end that, any chance of that. Certainly if he makes that, but he's just looking, pacing the green at 2 putts from here, and if Jonathan Lomas makes his 3, well, Monty will take his chance, but he can't afford the 3 putt. Putt of about, well, just under 30 feet. Reasonably flat. Oh, he's left it short. Overcautious. And now, if Jonathan Lomas can make his, too interested, but this is very interesting stuff at the moment. Gripping, if lots of ifs, but if Lomas can make this, then have the honour at the last year, never have a better chance. This is what they practice for. Downhill, will it move? Will it move? He's got it. He's got it. Oh, hang on, this wasn't in the script. The birthday boy goes to 13 under, and Monty's got a 6-footer, which must seem a little longer now, to preserve a one-shot lead. Go on then, Monty, you have a go. He's a gritty look. I like Jonathan Lomas. He's a shy character, but he's gritty, as all these pros have to be, and quietly confident in his own ability. And back at his club, Hill Valley in Shropshire, they'll be down in the bar there. Nobody looking away from the television. Just, he was trying to get away. Just baby that in, and he takes a crucial one-shot lead to the last. But even so, Jonathan Lomas gets his drive away. The pressure will still be on Colin Montgomery. It's closer than it looked like it was ever going to be when Monty made his eagle at 14. Between these two now. Michael Campbell just tapping in for par, but that's a sideshow. We go to 18, Santiago Luna. For eagle. 71. 8 under, share of 13. Alex Jacob making birdie 73, 6 under. And at the 18th, Carlos Rodilas making a 471, a share of 7th, and that should be 2 top 10 finishes in consecutive weeks, and his run will continue at the Belfry next week. So good news for Carlos, big shot for Roger Davis. Just wants it to cut. Oh, right over the flag, and 2 putts from there for 3rd place. Perverse way, Colin Montgomery may be enjoying this. Likes to be pushed, likes winning, but likes to feel that he's conquered other problems. This was the putt from Jonathan Lomas. Pace wasn't the problem, it was slightly downhill, and when it started to turn, always looked to be in. Coming up then, possibly the most important drive of Jonathan Lomas's professional career. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1994 and perhaps has underachieved since then, but what a moment.
Stay there, ball.
Well, if it does, he's happy. Wanted turning left, and now it's very good. It certainly brought the green within range. Over to you, Monty. Over the weekend, accuracy off the tee has been one of his strengths. Never needed it more than he does now. Easy rhythm, trust your swing. There we are. Past it goes, it's good and long, but in match play terms, and that's what this is in many senses now, Lomas will have the chance to strike the first blow. And remember that Colin Montgomery flew the green yesterday into the water at the back. Coulthard and Roker both dropping shots at 17. Really about 3 men out on the course. Roger Davis looking for third on his own. Jonathan Lomas looking to, well, at least catch Colin Montgomery and force a playoff. There's Davis with 2 putts for his ambition, to fulfill his ambition at 18. And I suppose if he were to make it for eagle, 12 under, Lomas could easily bogey. Coulthard maybe doing the ready reckoning. It's been 4 shots going in 4 holes for Roker. That's plunged him out of the top 10 down into a share of 30th place. And dispiriting, and not to mention expensive, especially when he worked so hard to get himself into such a good position. The pace of play just a little slow. We were due to finish our coverage in, what, 10 minutes from now. And it may take just a moment or 2 longer than that, so obviously we will stay with the action until conclusion. Just about everybody putting from there has missed on the low side. Coulthard for a round of 71. We'll have to settle hopefully for a round of level past 72. And anxious moments for a restless Colin Montgomery, who the one thing he'll be trying not to think about is yesterday, and you can think that Peter Coleman will be making doubly sure of the yardage. This was 24 hours ago. A 5-iron. So for some inexplicable reason, inexplicable reason, flew 20 yards further than it should have done and into the water. He got away with the 5, but he wouldn't want to do it again. Be last to play. Jonathan Lomas will get first crack at this green, then it will be Michael Campbell, but all 3 will have to wait. This is for a round of 70. 71 will get the job done that he wants to, and that's okay. Been a terrific week for Roger Davis. He finished at 11 under, and at the very worst, 3rd place on his own. Not quite the oldest swinger on tour, but it's a performance that many a younger man would love to have under his belt. Important putt for Andrew Coulthard, sharing 13th at the moment. This will give him a piece of the tied 7th action. It's okay, maybe not the week he'd hoped for, but over the last 2 weeks he's played very well at times. He's not far away. So for Fernando, some expensive lessons over the closing holes, but overall many positives to take away from Golf National. So the 18th green clears, and now the let's say the final action. It may not be. It may not be. This is a classic finishing hole. Pin just 9 paces on, 179 yards for Jonathan Lomas. Club selection all important. There's a little bit of breeze against on the from the right. It's a 5-iron. Is it? Will it? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Happy birthday. Colin Montgomery's got a battle on his hands. My goodness, he has. Now, Colin Montgomery, a one-shot lead. Does he go for it? Does he deny Jonathan Lomas the chance? Does he give Jonathan the chance? It's the 7-iron. Thunderous clouds in the background. That shot steepling up into the sky. Oh, it's a beauty again. Well, Jonathan Lomas, you just can't do anything about that. Rice smiled, he did it at 14, he couldn't do it again. He has. He has. He's the king of Europe, the Sun King of the European Tour. Lomas did all that he could. And Colin Montgomery produced that. What a blow. I did say earlier yesterday, finish ahead of Colin Montgomery, you will win the French Open. It will be, if he makes it his first ever French Open title. He deserves the ovation he's surely going to get. Let's take a look at this shot again. Being a little rusty, perhaps, doesn't play that much at the start of the year. Good finish last week, and revving up a gear, and just look at that. He only had the one birdie, but he might have 2 eagles, and that was a look of Jonathan Lomas resigned really to second place. But I'll tell you what, he might just pop his putt in and make Monty sweat. Certainly Lomas will be no worse than second now, and they're very pleased, Peter Coleman, and lovely feeling to hand your man the putter. Smiles all round. Here. The kids are at home, they'll be watching on TV, but clearly delighted Mrs. Montgomery. And as they say, are you watching Darren Clark? What a battle royal it's going to be during the ensuing months. Colin Montgomery's moved himself across to the side of the green just to pause and reflect and just clear the stage for his two fellow competitors. Michael Campbell relegated over the last few holes to onlooker really. But well, he's got this putt for a round of 73. This would move him into a share of fourth. Seen so many putts finish below the hole and one rather short as well. Can Jonathan Lomas make an eagle 3 for a round of 68 and just put a bit of pressure on Colin Montgomery? I think once it's that close, it matters not. But you never know. He has missed a couple of shortest putts during the course of the week, and if Lomas can make this, it would force Monty to hold his. There's the cushion though. Could take 3 putts from here, and it would take 4 putts and still finish second. But he's only thinking of one thing: holding it. I tell you, Colin Montgomery's expecting him to do just that. Gave it a chance. That's a bold effort from the 32-year-old. He'll tap in for birdie 4. He will finish at 14 under, a round of 69. Second place and a class performance from the birthday boy. Still no final putt for Colin Montgomery. Michael Campbell completing his week's work. Well, that's good. Round on of 74, up into a share of 7th place, and maybe just a couple of weeks off of real match fitness. So a little 2-footer for Colin Montgomery. He's won just about everything in Europe. He's never won the French Open. 22 titles on the European Tour that he's dominated for the last 7 years. 23 runners-up spots, so he's about to square that up. This for a round of 68. And he's won the French Open, the famous old trophy first played for in 1906. Onto the Montgomery mantelpiece. 2 eagles in the closing 5 holes. It was all too much for a spirited, talented Jonathan Lomas, but when Monty's at his best and over the closing holes he wasn't far away, he's almost unbeatable in this arena. He started with a 71, that was not what he ordered. The 68 was a move in the right direction. A 65 on day 3 laid the foundations. It was a quiet start in many ways, but 2 superb shots, one at 14 and here at 18. Irresistible, Colin Montgomery. Special when you've got the love of your life, and they're here to share what's always a special moment. And of course the race is well and truly joined for Volvo Order of Merit. Darren Clark, long-time leader after the $1 million win at the Anderson Consulting match play, and Colin Montgomery, by my calculations, up to 4th in the Volvo Order of Merit. This was the story of an enthralling final day of the French Open. Colin Montgomery leading by 1 at the start of play and signalling his intentions with a 3 at the first, and you thought that would be the start of a birdie barrage. Didn't quite work out that way. Had to content to par his way on, and on occasions had to work hard for par figures, notably here at the second. Saved 3, but from time to time the putter wasn't quite behaving. Par 5 third, Monty's third. But only a par. More frustration at 5. His closest rivals likewise weren't making too many birdies. Out in 35. And still the pars kept coming until 14. 270 yards out. 3-wood of the year. Eagle 3, and surely we thought that was that. But his one mistake of the day came at the next. 8-iron, 140 odd yards across water. Bit of a flyer, bit of a push. Bit of a splash. Only drop shot of the round. Pars at 16, 17. Lomas turning the pressure, only 1 behind and safely on the green at 18. What could Monty do? Simply this. A back nine where Eagles pair for our movie star hero Colin Montgomery, deservedly champion for the year 2000, the Novotel Perrier Open de France. Almost £78,000 for Jonathan Lomas. That's the end of a mini slump for the Englishman. Roger Davis will be delighted to finish 3rd on his own, just shy of his 49th birthday. Good performance also from John Senden, Freddie Jackerson and the experienced Roger Vessels. Top 10 for the 2nd week running for Carlos Rodriguez. And Jean van der Velde gave value for money for the home fans. Disappointing day for Michael Campbell, but he will come again. Peter O'Malley finished strongly, so did Robert Coles with a round of 66. Santiago Luna finished in style with an eagle at the last. And a 66 for the young Belgian player Nicolas van Houtgem. So that's the story of the top 20 of the French Open. And the weather behaved. The storms stayed away. So to the victor of the spoils, and time for us to join our colleague David Livingston behind 18 for the presentation to Colin Montgomery.
Well, down here by the 18th, absolute chaos. The thousands have stayed on to hail the champion here. The champion has been already quaffing some of the sponsors' product. Well done, Colin. Here we have beside you, first of all, from Perrier Vitel France, the Chief Executive Officer, Monsieur Alain Dorfner. And on the far side, Monsieur Sven Bonnet, board member of Accor and chairman of Novotel. First of all, from yourself, Monsieur Bonnet, the trophy, a trophy which is new to Colin.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. Wow.
Now, if you're okay with that one, Colin, Monsieur Dorfner also has a very handsome cheque for you, which is going to perhaps kickstart the season.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
Colin, so both these items in your hand confirm the slump is over.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, people talk about a slump, but I was only under par every round, you know, and it wasn't all bad. I had 8 rounds with Peter Coleman, and I enjoyed every one of them. And in the Spanish Open last week, and of course here in the French Open, we were under par every day, and enjoyed working with him, and it's great to finish that way. You know, all credit to Jonathan Lomas for making me hit a reasonable shot down the last. You know, he hit the green and had a chance of eagle to win, if you like, and I shut the door, and that's what I had to do, and I'll hit worse 6 irons in my day than that one.
Indeed, and quite seriously, that never any suggestion that you've anywhere near been playing bad this year. You've been hitting so many rounds under par, but you've almost been torturing yourself about getting that final A game together. Sure. How does it feel now to get the door completely open to the season ahead?
Yeah, well, it's good. Our European Tour statistician there said that I was second in the putting stats going into today, and that's why I won. If I putt well, I have every chance of winning, and I haven't been doing that, and that's why I've been finishing, you know, in the top 10 but not winning, and that's why I won today this week, because I putted well.
And is it watch out the others now?
Well, it's a good start, you know. It's a tournament that I always wanted to win. I really enjoy playing this course, and haven't done all that well in recent times on this course. I really enjoy playing the course, and it's nice to come here and eventually do very well. And yes, it's I suppose this is the start of my season now. I've got a lot of big tournaments to come in, including this one, and I'm looking forward to them all.
Okay, Colin, a new trophy on which your name can go, and a nice cheque to take to Mrs. Montgomery. She's just up there. She's ready for that. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the Novotel Perrier French Open champion, Colin Montgomery.
And there the wonderful scene looking across the lake that guards 18 and the presentation party. Been some week. Cast your mind back to a rather chilly Thursday. Alberto Benaghi here at the last minute when Silvio Graffassoni dropped out a round of 66, the shock first round leader. Plenty of sights around, and Drescent sight. Jarmo Sandlin supreme in round 2. He was about to have an unhappy ending, disqualified in round 4 after a wretched third round 78, but at the halfway stage he and Anders Hansen and Fernando Roca, who'd never led before, shared top spot. The Saturday belonged to Colin Montgomery. He said, I need a round in the low 60s. Exactly what he got. Found his putting touch. 2 days spent with Costantino Rocca maybe put his own putting problems into perspective. All added up to a 65 and a one-shot lead to take into the final round. Days 2 and 3 have been affected by delays and storm. Thankfully no such delay on day 4, and a birthday performance from Jonathan Lomas as Michael Campbell fell away, but 2 eagles on the closing holes. And Monty Raines in France, the Sun King of the European Tour, has launched his season with a title that he's never won before. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't miss next week's Bench and Hedges. Monty defends against a star-studded field. I'm Steve Beddow. I'll see you there, hopefully.